rich. Don't let anyone make you feel ashamed of your desire to be rich. It is not only good, but very good to be rich. When your blood is circulating freely in your body, you are healthy. When money is circulating freely in your life, you are economically healthy. There is nothing wrong with being economically healthy. There is no virtue in poverty. It is an illness, like any other mental illness. If you were physically ill, you would realize there was something wrong with you. You would seek help and try to cure the condition at once. In the same way, if you do not have enough money constantly circulating in your life, there's something radically wrong with you. But have you ever thought about what is wrong with you and why you can't get what you want? For many people, there are 3 key reasons. You can also call them emotions that are holding them back from success. Reason number 1, envy. When I was a kid, playing with my friends in the neighborhood, we would very often see a young guy driving an expensive car. With my friends, we would all look at the car with envy and then say things like, "God knows what kind of illegal things this guy did to buy such a luxury car at a young age," or, "Why can such arrogant guys drive a luxury car, but not us?" Basically, we would talk all sorts of envious things behind the guy's back without even knowing him or what he does. After reading books similar to this one, I completely changed my behavior. The reason I changed was that entertaining envious thoughts are devastating. It places you in a negative position. Therefore, wealth flows away from you instead of to you. If you get annoyed or irritated by the prosperity or great wealth of another, then you have pushed wealth away from you. Remember that you lose what you condemn. You cannot attract what you criticize or envy. Would you stay with a girlfriend or boyfriend who constantly criticizes you? Of course not. And neither will wealth. Wealth is like a sexy blonde girl sitting alone on the bar, waiting for the gentleman to compliment her beauty and buy a drink. If you approach her and start criticizing her beauty, do you think she will go out with you? Of course not. She will talk to the man who knows how to appreciate her. If you have thought envious things about anyone's wealth, stop doing it for your own benefit. The thought you have about the other person is your thought because you are thinking it. Therefore, you actually create in your own experience what you think and feel about the other person. The suggestion you give to another, you give to yourself as well, because your mind is the source that created those thoughts. Your subconscious mind records it and plays it back to you. These days, when I see a young guy driving a nice car, I truly feel happy for him. I feel happy that he is blessed to drive such a nice car. In my mind, I wish him the best and thank him for motivating me and showing me what is possible. I say to myself, if he can do it, I can do it as well. To myself, reason number 2, you're trying too hard. Suppose you were asked to walk along a narrow plank that is on the floor. You would do it easily, without question. But now suppose the same plank was 50 meters high between 2 walls. Would you still do it? Probably not. Your desire to walk the length of the plank would come into conflict with your imagination. You would imagine falling down. You might very much want to walk across the plank, but your fear of falling would keep you from being able to do it. The more effort you put into conquering your imagination, the greater strength is given to the idea of falling. The thought, I will use my willpower to overcome my failure, leads to failure. It's like deciding not to think about a green hippo. The decision makes the idea of a green hippo dominate the mind, and the subconscious always responds more to the dominant idea. And since most of the time the dominant idea is failure, that is exactly what ends up happening. So what is the source of the problem here? Well, the problem is that you are trying too hard. Never try to force the subconscious mind to accept your idea by using willpower. Such attempts are doomed to failure. You will get the opposite of what you want. The effortless way is better. You are probably familiar with this situation. You go to an exam and you feel as you know it well, But when you face an exam paper, your mind goes blank. All your knowledge of the subject has suddenly disappeared. You can't recall a single relevant thought. The harder you try, the farther the knowledge seems to run. When you leave the exam room, the mental pressure eases. And suddenly, the answers you were hunting for so desperately a few minutes ago flow back into your mind. The mistake you made was to try to force yourself to remember. So what is the solution then? Relaxation. Don't push yourself so hard to find the solution or look hard for ways to reach your goal. Just know what the end result will look like and feel the happiness you would feel if you achieved that goal. Feeling and imagination are the most important factors for the subconscious mind. Your new idea must be felt in a finished state. If you do that, then your subconscious mind will work hard to find ways to reach your goal. You will start getting new ideas. You will start meeting new people and seeing new solutions. It's super important to be open to new solutions at these times. When you delegate something to your subconscious mind, listen to it and trust its power. Reason number 3, fear. I've heard this sentence a lot. I said affirmations and did visualizations, but I did not get results. Well, it is because you probably indulged in fear thoughts, perhaps 10 minutes later, and neutralized the good you had affirmed. Imagine that you got into a taxi and asked the driver to take you to your home address. But after a few hundred meters, you asked the driver to take you to a different address. After a short period, you changed the address again. If you keep changing the destination every few hundred meters, the taxi driver would be confused. Even if he wanted to follow your instructions, chances are he wouldn't be able. Where you would end up is anybody's guess. It's the same when working with the enormous powers of your subconscious mind. You must have a clear idea in your mind. You must arrive at the definite decision that there is a way out, a solution to the problem. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, the idea that realizes itself is the one to which we give the most concentrated attention. For example, if you have an exam or interview, most of the time you will probably think about failure. As a result, it is a failure that the subconscious mind brings into reality. The fear of failure creates the experience of failure. Here is a technique for overcoming fear. Suppose you are afraid of swimming. Begin now to sit still for 5 or 10 minutes 3 or 4 times a day. Put yourself into a state of deep relaxation. Now, imagine you are swimming. You feel the coolness of the water and the movement of your arms and legs. It is a real, vivid, and joyous activity of the mind. This is not idle daydreaming. You understand that what you are experiencing in your imagination will be developed in your subconscious mind.